Hello everyone, I'm Maggie Hill, the Commercialization Manager for HALO Products, and I'm excited to welcome you to the first ever HALO Live event. Thank you for taking the time to spend with Cooper Lighting Solutions. For over 65 years, HALO has been the most trusted brand of builders, contractors, and DIYers for residential downlighting. Just recently, we celebrated our 24th year in a row of being the #1 brand leader in lighting per Builder magazine. Today's event is focused on the emerging trend in residential lighting, canless lighting. Cans have been around forever, but canless is where the market is trending, and for a lot of good reasons you will hear more about today. During the event, you will hear from industry experts, see how simple and easy HALO's canless products are to install, and make sure to stay on until the end, as there will be an expert panel ready to answer your questions. If you have questions throughout the event, please type them in the chat feature and the team will be ready to answer them live at the end of the show. Now let's meet our panel of experts. First up is Mr. HALO himself, Glenn Siegel, who has been with the company for over 35 years and was around when the company introduced the world's first ENERGY STAR certified LED downlight. Glenn and team clearly didn't stop there. They have continued to delight contractors and builders, always innovating with them in mind. Next up is StudPack, a father-son duo who loves all things construction. They are very knowledgeable and have a tremendous following with almost 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. After the event, check out their YouTube channel and click to subscribe. Last but not least, we have Matt Reisinger, a leading builder who specializes in architect-driven and fine craftsmanship homes. Matt also has a powerful influence in the builder community, with almost 1 million subscribers. You can find him on his YouTube channel or on buildshownetwork.com. Make sure to subscribe after our event today. Let's get started. Well, hello, Glenn. That is the official way to greet the HALO team at Cooper Lighting. Glenn, can you please tell us about canless? Why is it so beneficial to our customers? Why is HALO investing in it? And what makes them so amazing?
HALO, Maggie. Thanks for having me. Our customers love the HALO Canless series of lighting products because they combine the ultimate in flexibility of installation, deliver significant energy savings, and have sustainable features for both new construction and remodel. HALO is always listening to our customers and understanding shifts in the market. We identified that plenum spaces were shrinking, and because of HALO's ability to adapt and leverage new technologies, we were able to adapt and create lighting fixtures that do not require a housing. This allowed us to be able to fit a fixture in as little as a ½ plenum space. HALO has invested in canless, and we now have slim, regressed, adjustable, and wait for it, even a sloped ceiling fixture for pitch ceilings, as well as smart technology and, spoiler alert, the Quick Link, which is the fastest way to install lighting. All of our canless products live up to the HALO brand promise of easy, quick installation to get off the job faster while reducing material and labor costs. And get this, they have field selectability, so homeowners can adjust the color temperature for the desired application or task. Everything you need to delight Mrs. McGillicuddy.
Thanks, Glenn. Mrs. McGillicuddy will sure be happy. If you don't know who that is, I sure didn't until I met Glenn, check out I Love Lucy. Let's check in with StudPack to see how easy it is to install these products.
Hey everyone, it's Paul and Jordan with StudPack, and we're so excited to be here today with Matt Reisinger for HALO's first ever live event. And we want to give a huge thanks to the team at Cooper Lighting and HALO for having us. We have been using HALO lighting products since before we had a YouTube channel because they are always pushing the envelope on lighting innovation and technology. And it has never been easier to have beautiful updated lighting in your own home. Every single one of HALO's products is incredibly quick and easy to install. And as contractors, when we can combine a high quality product like this with a quick install, it's a win for us and it's a win for our clients. Each of HALO's products is wired the same way, a small junction box with factory installed push-in wire connectors. It's as easy as stripping the conductor and pushing in the ground to the ground, the white to the white, and the black to the black. If you can wire up one of their products, you can install any of them. Now that you've seen how easy the wiring is, all you need to do is decide on which lighting product to use for your application, and there are plenty to choose from. Let's start with the HALO Quick Link Low Voltage Kit, and this thing is totally awesome. Forget everything you knew about running Romex to every single lighting location. All you have to do with this one, run your Romex to the power pack, and then it in turn powers 35 feet of low voltage cable. Then each one of your lights attaches to that cable using a threaded connector using insulation piercing technology, and you don't need any tools. And it has all of our favorite HALO features. It is airtight, completely dimmable. You can use them in a shower. Of course, LED like we talked about before, it'll last forever. And our favorite, 5 selectable colors from 2700K all the way up to 5000K. So what's in the box? You get 4 of these lights. We just happen to be using the 4-inch ones just like that. We're going to talk about how it connects later. Now let's start with the heart of the system, the power supply. And there are a ton of features in this thing. Let's start with this end. It is actually hinged right there. So if you're installing this from the ground level and you're trying to snake this into a ceiling space or an inaccessible attic, it allows you to do that. And once you've got it straightened out in the attic, it's got a little latch to keep it straight. Pretty cool. Now let's open up the junction box, and you'll see immediately we've got 2 integral clamps for your NM cable. It also has a knockout if you're using Flex or MC or something like that. There's a little cap inside. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And there's simply the 3 wires inside, the hot, the neutral, and the ground. Also factory installed wire connectors. You don't even need a wire nut. Nice. Now let's go to the other end. We've got 40 feet of low voltage self-healing cable. And this is what we're going to attach our lights to. It's very easy and we don't need any tools to do it. Now this is 40 feet long, like I said, enough to do most rooms. But what happens if you cut it, and can you cut it? Yes, you can cut it, but just know that you can't get that length back. You can't splice it back together. So it's just recommended to leave it long and to loop the wire together at the end with this enclosed cable tie. But whether you cut it or not, you must use this cap to cover up the exposed wires on the end. So let me gather the few tools that I do need, and we'll head into the attic and show you how awesome this thing really is. And our goal is to get in and out of this attic in 5 minutes. Woo!
Let me know how it goes.
All right, thanks. Here's our switch leg. This is from the old fixture in the middle of the room. We just saved it. There's nothing wrong with this cable. It's got a ground. So our electrician just saved this up here. And here's the new 14.3 we ran to our fan. So let's find a good location to mount this guy and get it wired up. I'm kind of liking this location right here for our power supply. It's protected by this ductwork, so nobody's going to trip on it if they're ever climbing up here. I got quite a bit of cable, so I'm going to just loop it around like that. The switch is off, and it's not even connected in the box, so I'm totally safe. I'm going to use my knife, slit the sheathing, pull it back.
You're already dripping.
I know.
Wow.
I almost bought a thermometer so we could show everybody just how hot it is in here. What do you think it is? 120 at least.
At least.
Yeah. I'm gonna strip those. All right, we are ready. I'm gonna open the cover, get these guys out of the way. Use my pocket knife. We're gonna remove this little cap. There we go, just like that. And now that's gonna grab the sheathing on my NM cable. Put it down so I can press. There we go. Nice. 3 wires to connect, and we are done with the wiring, dude. That's pretty incredible, huh?
Yeah, and you just get to poke them in, right?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Wired up.
Awesome. Let's fold these around, make it nice and neat in the box. Close the cover. Screw it down. I only brought 2 screws, man. I usually bring an extra in case I drop it in this insulation. All right. There's one. Oh,
Not gonna be able to get to that one.
I can't get the other one.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it.
You got it.
Oh.
Careful.
Oh, dropped it. Got it. These happen to be stainless steel. That's why they're not sticking to my magnetic bit. Only the best for stud pack, right? Stainless steel screws all the time. There we go. A little bit of an angle, but it's secure. We'll just latch that.
Yeah.
Nice. I brought a staple. Why don't we put a staple in it?
Sure, Dad.
Actually, I'm gonna bend it around that way and put it right there. And again, maybe putting it under the duct wasn't the best idea. Was that your idea or mine? We're gonna hammer sideways. Perfect. We are done.
Cool.
Yeah, our first light location is actually right here.
Yep.
So we'd immediately hit this plywood.
Yep.
And then we hit that plywood.
Yep.
And we got this strong back that we have to go over.
Right.
So a lot easier doing it from up here.
So while we're up here, we might as well just run the self-healing cable to each location.
All right. Sounds like you want me to be up here a little longer.
I'm up here with you, man.
You are. I appreciate that. This is the mental support, right?
Yeah.
You know what I could do? I could just
Give yourself a little loop, a little extra.
I could just push it right through there, huh?
Yeah.
And then we can easily find it from downstairs.
Perfect. Yep.
So I'm gonna crawl down there, do that one.
Yep.
And I'll catch the corner, and on my way back, I'll do this one, and we'll coil up the excess.
Cool.
You know what? I'm just gonna stick the end in there. Then I can coil it up downstairs
Yep.
and put the whole thing in.
Yeah, let's get out of
Let's
here.
get out of here. Whew. Man, that was just 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm trying to show how sweaty I was, but I'll take a high five. Yeah.
All right, we're down from the attic, and as you can see, there's all our low voltage cable, and this is the simplest, easiest part. Anybody can do this. This section comes from the factory like that. You simply unscrew it, and this piece becomes separate. And can you see that groove in there?
Yep.
That is the groove for the low voltage cable. And see the pins here? That's what pierces the insulation and makes contact with the wire inside. And that slot in there is where the cable goes. And it doesn't matter if I go this way or the other way. Polarity doesn't matter on the low voltage stuff. So let's slide that in there, all the way to the bottom. Now these can only go together one way. You'll just have to figure it out, but I already see that they go together this way. And then you simply tighten this part that's in my left hand. See how I'm tightening that? And it's gonna push the cable down and push the pins against the conductors. It is that simple. We are done.
We got a light?
We got a light. Here's our color selector switch. We've got it on 3500. Put it wherever you want. 2700 all the way up to 5000K. I'm gonna push everything up in the ceiling. And these little springs are pretty strong. There we go. You ready, bud?
Yep.
I'm gonna let it go. Done. How easy was that?
Wow.
No tools required. All right, gang, last one. That little cap we talked about earlier. Now it's time to put it on. Go right in there. The bottom's out, and you got a little cover. I'm still sweaty from being in the attic. Everything's slippery. There we go. And we're done. Completely protected.
Nice.
Now I'm gonna pull this out until it's a little tight, right? Get all the excess out. There we go. I'll put in my new light here, and we'll bundle up all this excess tail with the cable tie.
Try not to move it.
Make sure we're set right. There's all our excess low voltage cable. We're gonna use this reusable zip tie. Keep it all together. Now we put all this in the attic, and we are ready for a dimmer and powered up. Notice the gasket right there, seals against the drywall. Pretty cool. I found it easier to put one in like that, Jordan, push it all the way over, and then bend the other one all the way up and let it go without seeing the gasket. There we go. Awesome job, dude. Cool. Right here. The next product we're going to check out is HALO's Canless Nightlight. It's available in a 4 and a 6-inch version. Don't you hate when you get up in the middle of the night, you turn on the light and you're blinded? Wouldn't it be great to have a nightlight that doesn't need any additional wiring or any additional switches? HALO's got you covered. Let's go check them out. So I'm coming out of the master bedroom in the middle of the night, headed to the kitchen for a drink of water, and I turn on the light and I know I'm going to be blinded. But check it out. Before I went to bed with this one, I just toggled the switch and now I got the nightlight on. No additional wiring and no additional switches. Super easy, gang. The next product we want to talk about is HALO's Canless Easy Trim. And this is a great product, gang. It's going to allow you to upgrade to smart lighting using your own lamps. Check it out. And you can use either the GU base with the 2 pins or the traditional Edison base that we're all familiar with. So if it's new construction, you're gonna grab a hold of this frame from HALO Lighting, and your electrician is gonna mount that frame at each lighting location and put a loop of wire in the ceiling at each location. Your drywall guys are gonna use their router and route through that frame for the light. When it comes time to finish off the electricians are gonna grab that wire through that hole, wire it up like we showed you, and snap this into your frame. On a remodel, it couldn't be any easier. Just like we showed you before, cut a hole in the drywall, wire it up, and you're good to go. But what if you don't have a flat ceiling? What if you have a slope ceiling? Well, HALO's got you covered with this game changer. And the final product we want to feature is HALO's Canless Slope. And this thing is great. It has all the HALO features that we love, plus this one is adjustable depending on your slope ceiling. All the way from 9 degrees, all the way up to 45. And all you got to do, guys, is pull on that little tab right there, and the light bulb changes direction. And they've even engineered it with this little tether that would hook to your drywall and support the box so there's no strain on this cable. Pretty cool. I cannot wait to try this one out. As you can see, HALO has designed all their products with the best interest of the contractor and the homeowner in mind. With tons of products to choose from, the ease of installation, and all the added features, this is the go-to lighting solution for everyone. Thanks again to the team at Cooper Lighting and HALO, and we're so excited to connect with all of you at the live Q&A.
Wow. I don't know which product is my favorite, as they all provide value and easy, fast installation. Contractors on the call must be loving it. Matt, can you tell us what you love about these Canless products from a builder's perspective?
Hey friends, my name is Matt Reisinger. I'm a general contractor in Austin, Texas, but you may know me from the Build Show on YouTube. I had the pleasure of building my own personal house, and I recorded most of it on YouTube. Boy, it's been a lot of fun, and that's where I am today. This is my foyer right here. I partnered with HALO on this project, and every light in my house, minus these decorative fixtures, is all HALO. You know, it's amazing to me in my 27 years I've been in the building industry how much lighting has changed. I mean, think about what it was like 20 years ago to where it is today. And that's what we're talking about. We've got some really cool new products that I used on this house that I think you're really gonna like. But before we get there, let's talk about what lighting does for you as a builder. You know, lighting really is a differentiator, and it's really worth it to spend money on good lighting. But you know, as a custom builder, I've seen all kinds of things over the years, from kind of inexpensive products all the way up to some crazy expensive stuff. And that's one of the things I really like about HALO is they've got a really good line of lights that are super high quality, but yet affordable. And with some of the things we're going to talk about today, they've got some new features that are super innovative and different than what's available in the marketplace, that have saved me both time and money, and also solved a couple problems for me in the process. So with that being said, let me turn the camera on. Let me show you a couple of the products that we used here. And I'm gonna tell you about a couple of things that they really solve. So first off, Canless. This is a new version of Canless that actually has a Nightlight. We'll talk about that in a second. But this is what I used a lot in my house. This is gonna have a separate driver. If I can open the box here. So this driver right here is gonna have your Romex into this box. And then you can see there's no can. You just have these little spring clips which are gonna hold this device up to whatever your ceiling is. And here's where it really made a difference in my house. I use these throughout my whole kitchen space here. And you can see I've got this beautiful wood ceiling. And when you're doing wood ceilings, you really wanna make sure that your lights are lined up either maybe in the center of the board or on a seam. And with this Canless product, I was able to do that. That made a really big difference for me. So that all I had to do was put the Romex in the ceiling, and then later, when it was time to wire, I could actually put those cans exactly where I wanted them in board placement. The other big deal about these though really is plenum space. I mean, look how thin that is. And if I've got HVAC ducts, if I've got structural framing, whatever, we can fit these in some really thin spaces. And some of the other models are so thin they can actually fit in the drywall space. This one's a little thicker because it's got these spring clamps, but there are some that will fit in your 1/2 inch or 5 inch drywall space. So you could even put them on a rafter or on a bay where you've got some framing going on. That's a pretty incredible product with such a minimal size. The other thing that I want to mention that Stud Pack, I believe, gave us a quick install video on is this Quick Link. This is a low voltage lighting kit, which means that we're only going to have Romex to one location, and then we're going to string low volt wires to the rest. So for instance, this 6-pack or this 8-pack only requires one power supply, one Romex here, and then the rest of this is included, which is low voltage. So we're gonna save money both on the wiring cost, because Romex, is copper, it's not cheap. And then these are gonna connect. And what's cool about these is they all have this type of connector right here. You can see this will unscrew and we can pop this off, if I can do it one-handed while I film. And now we can run all these from one location and connect these to the low volt wires. This happens to be their adjustable gimbal, and this is a 6-inch model. And let me show you where I used that particular fixture at my house. Oh, got to turn it on right here. Let's see, living room, there we go. So this slope ceiling here, you can see we've got about a 20 or 25 degree slope on the ceiling, and these fixtures are actually pointing straight down because they're the slope ceiling. Now this happens to be the 4-inch model from Halo, and the 6-inch model is what I've got on the kitchen island here. But all 6 of these were put in after the fact, after the drywall was hung. We could line them up exactly where we wanted. It's in line with that speaker right there. It's where I wanted them in relation to the skylights, and then the gimbals are adjusted so they're straight down. That's a really nice kit. And the other thing that they've got that's fairly new is this guy right here. This is a direct mount as well. This is a splay downlight 6-inch. And you're gonna notice on all these fixtures that they're color selectable. So we can select from 3, 4, or 5,000 Kelvin. And some of the other fixtures actually have more than that. This one has 5 selections. And I believe those selections are actually right here on the housing. So your electrician can set this from 27 up to 6,000. I even like how they've shown the 27 as a little bit warmer, and they're showing you that it's a little cooler when it gets to 5,000, which of course we know is daylight. So they're using kind of a bluish symbol on the 5,000, and then it's a little warmer as you get down to 2,700. I actually wired everything in my whole house at 3,000 Kelvin. I think that's really the perfect temperature, but I do see that some people, when they go into laundry rooms, they like to go a little brighter so you can see what that temperature is in the laundry room. So there are some people that go 5,000 Kelvin in laundry room, pantries, that sort of thing. I'm a fan of 3,000. That's really what my whole house is. And even with a bright daylight coming in, I think 3,000 is the way to go. All right, let's see, guys. What did I miss on my topics for today? I think we talked low voltage. We talked about the options. Oh, I know what I forgot to mention. This one is brand new. This is the Canless baffle downlight with a nightlight option. So check this out. This has a nightlight, so you can either have this light on or you can have the nightlight on, which means that now you can get up and go to the bathroom. You can get to the kitchen in the middle of the night. This would be really nice to put in all of your bath areas, so the kids, when they get up in the middle of the night, don't have to turn the lights on, or you don't. You've got that nightlight option. Again, everything's going to show the lumen output, and it's going to tell you whether it's color selectable and how many colors. And Halo's done a great job with making those selectable, so that now the same fixture can be used as somebody who wants 2,700, 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, or 5,000, all in the same fixture. And I think the light modes here is really cool. That's a really nice feature. All right, guys, I think that's all I wanted to mention in particular today. This Canless direct mount splay is going to be one of your most affordable options out there. But really, when it comes to the scheme of things, these are very affordable fixtures. And now that we can wire with low volt, with just one Romex wire here with the quick link set, gosh, that's a really, really nice fixture, especially for remodelers that are coming in and maybe putting one 8-pack of this in the kitchen, utilizing an existing circuit, and having that many Canless, I should say, baffle downlights all in one location. All right, with that being said, let me turn the program back over to Maggie, and don't forget, we're gonna have time for your Q&A. I'll see you in a minute.
Thanks, Matt. Halo's Canless products are able to help builders save money and time. Yet another reason why Halo is the #1 selling recessed lighting brand in North America. Now let's hear from you. Time to review your questions, and we'll hear from our expert panel on the answers. right, first up we have a question for Stud Pack. Does QuickLink come with different lens styles?
Yes, the Quick Link Connect kit has a more modern flat lens, and then there's another one that is more recessed that looks like the older can lights.
Fantastic. What about the low voltage cable? Is that really 35 feet long?
So Jordan and I actually were wondering about that. So the kit we received came with 4 lights, and it was 39 feet long. So props to Halo, they gave us 4 extra feet. Now the larger kits come with longer cable for larger rooms. I think the 6 light kit would have a longer cable, and then I saw one at Matt's house with 8 lights. I imagine it comes with a very long cable to cover one entire room.
Fantastic. I saw another question come in regarding the Nightlight fixture. Can that work on a dimmer?
It absolutely can. That's great technology. You don't need any additional wiring or any additional switches to control the main downlight from the ring light, which serves as the night light. One switch or one dimmer, or even a 3-way situation, takes care of it all.
And that was going to be my next question is, does it work on a 3-way switch with no additional wiring?
I read your mind.
All right, let's check in with Matt. What does Halo's Canless option do for you as a remodeler?
Man, I think this category in general, Canless, and all the options that Halo has is a dream for remodelers. And the first thing that really caught my attention, like when I saw some of these fixtures at the International Builder Show, I can't remember, 3 years ago was it first released, was the thinness of these fixtures. If you look on the Halo website, there's a drawing, or there's a picture, I should say, of one of these fixtures that's installed underneath a joist in basically the space that 1/2 inch or 5 inch drywall would make up. And that's where the light bulb went off for me to go, oh baby, this is this is going to be a game changer. Because how many times have we slammed a can into a joist and gone, oh, we can't quite get these on center. What do you want us to do, Mr. Homeowner, Mr. Architect, Mrs. Designer? I can't quite get these things all to work in alignment the way you drew them on your RCP or reflect the ceiling plan. Now, with some of the super thin canless, I mean, it means that we're going to actually be able to do that. And then I mentioned in the video, the other big thing for me was like on my wood ceiling at my house. I'm in my, here, let me walk around a little bit since I've got a laptop and can. This is my foyer. My front door is right here. Sorry, my boys' golf clubs are still in the foyer. On this wood ceiling, anytime you're doing wood ceilings, this one's a little different than, let's say, another ceiling I've got in my house, which is similar to this, which is like shiplap. Anytime you've got wood ceilings, there's always that extra heartbeat that I've got during roughing to go, oh no, I don't know exactly what my wood ceiling layout's going to be. I want these lights to work in the wood ceiling spaces. And now this is really more than just remodeling. This is new construction as well. Now I don't have to worry about that because we can install those lights later and we can move them around, and we're not trying to go back up and move that can later. Did I answer that fully for
Yeah,
you, Maggie? I know that was kind of
fan-
long.
fantastic. Hey, while you're there, what's the benefit of QuickLink in your builds?
I mean, quick, like again, I'm going to reuse the same phrase I said, but that's a remodeler's dream. I mean, you saw how StudPack did it in their attic in hot Texas, and he maybe wasn't in there 5 minutes, but the point is, you're going to be really, really quick in and out. But when it comes to remodeling, I got a lot of friends who do nothing but kitchen remodels. Let's say, think about a kitchen remodel. You've got one switch leg from an old kitchen. You don't have to rip that out anymore. You don't have to add additional wiring. In fact, you might not even have to really pull the drywall out of that ceiling. You have one switch leg. You wire that to the end of the quick link. It's low voltage to all those other places. You can buy that 8-light kit. Now I could go from, let's say, an old school fluorescent light fixture that was in a kitchen on a 70s, 80s, 90s house. I can update that with 8 cans. I can do it with the original copper that was in there, that one switch leg. And then all the low voltage comes in the pack. I mean, that's huge for remodeling contractors.
Perfect. Do you often change lighting temperatures, or is it set and you forget about it after you do that initial setting? Because we have a lot of Halo has a lot of selectable color temperature fixtures, and do you find that to be helpful on your new construction or your remodels?
Yeah, it's funny when color selectable came out, I thought I would change them in the future, whether it was for a mood or a scene or I might change my mind. But really, what I end up doing these days is I give my clients a demo of the different color temperatures and say, here's a quick 5 minutes on color temperature. Here's what I like and what I typically do. And for the most part, I do 3000. That's what you're seeing here. I'm sure the temperatures are weird because this is, my MacBook's video camera. But I pretty much set everything at 3000 and forget it. And I'll tell my clients, hey, we can talk about this. Do you want that warmer 2700? Maybe in a laundry room or master closets, I'll go to that higher daylight kind of temperature, like 5000. But 99.9% of the time, it's a set it and forget it. However, that being said, there are times when we do come back and the clients say, hey, actually, I know we set this at 5,000, let's say, for my master closet, so I could really tell what the colors are and understand what's black and what's blue, but I don't like it. Can we change it back? No problem. If it's a smart fixture from Halo, I'm doing that on my Halo app on my phone. If it's one of these that's in my ceiling, pop that fixture down. There's a switch right on there. We can change that color temperature. So it is easy to do, but to answer the question, most of the time it's set it and forget it.
Makes sense, definitely. Especially for those Miss McGillicuddy customers that want to make sure they get it just right. So, how long do you expect these Halo LEDs to last in your home? And do you keep spares on hand for future needs?
All right, this is one. This kind of goes back to my original LED days. Like I don't know how many of you have been building in the multiple decade time frame, but I started my custom building company in '05 when really there weren't a lot of LEDs on the marketplace, 2005. And I remember the first LED bulbs. I put them in a project in 2006, 2007, and they were like $100 a bulb. And at the time, this is like Gen 1 LED. They were saying, oh, yeah, these will last for 10 to 20 years, X amount of hours. Well, they didn't. This is, again, 15, 20 years ago at this point. So, what I got in the habit of doing was always keeping a few spares, even if it's something that's going to last a long time. And now here we are, multiple generations later in LEDs. I do expect these to last a long, long time. I mean, probably a decade or more. But there is that chance that something could go bad. And so I've kept 3 or 4 of every single fixture in my house in my kind of spare closet space where I've got all my tile extras, I've got my grout extras, I've got 3 or 4 of everything, so that if I needed it to replace, I've got it. But also if I needed to remodel, at my last house, which I remodeled, it's been a long time ago, 15 years ago. It was not more than 2 weeks that I've moved in, and my wife was like, "Why don't we have more light in this room? Why did you decide to only put 4 recess cans in the master bedroom?" And I was like, "I don't know. I mean, that's what the plans had. That's why I did that." And like here I am remodeling my remodel a month or two after I moved in. So having those fixtures on hand, making sure there's not either a supply chain issue or we've changed something on that fixture in the future, super smart. So now 5 years later, if my daughter's bedroom becomes my home office when she goes to college in a couple years, and I want to add 3 more lights in there, boom, I got them. So I highly recommend that to everybody. These fixtures are not that expensive. It's not that hard to keep a couple of extra. And for the most part, I only used maybe 4 or 5 different Halo products in my entire house. So here I am ordering, let's say, 10 to 15 extra fixtures to leave in my attic, 3 of each one of the 5.
That makes a lot of sense. So, I've seen some discussion on 4-inch versus 6-inch canless. So, what is your recommendation on that?
I always go smaller. For the most part, smaller means slightly lower lumen output, and so you might need to get an extra fixture or 2 in a space. But smaller just always tends to be my choice. And for instance, this house that I'm in, this is 9 foot ceilings. I've got wood up here. I did all the 4 inch pretty much in this whole space. And you saw it in the video. Actually, they're not on, which is funny. But in my slope ceiling, I used this slope ceiling kit versions, so these are able to go straight down. And again, I went with a smaller one. I think it's better to be a little bit smaller and maybe have a slightly smaller lumen output than to have a bigger fixture. So that's always my choice, is to go with the 4 inch.
So smaller is better in this case.
I think
So
so.
so these are airtight fixtures, but I know you are a belt and suspenders guy. So what's your install recommendation for an air sealing standpoint? From an air sealing standpoint, excuse me.
Yeah, so for instance, when you saw Stud Pack dropping that one on the ceiling on his project, there, I don't know if he showed it very well, but there is a gasket that's in there. But I'm always a little wary that those gaskets are actually going to air seal really well, especially if we're trying to get a really low blower door score. So there's a couple different options I would give you. One option is to drop a bead of a really high quality latex caulking like Big Stretch or like Lexel on top of the gasket and also underneath the gasket. You're not going to be able to remove that fixture as easily, but you're going to really make sure that you get a really, really tight air seal on there. So that's one option. Another option would be, and I like this option too, would be to make a box above those fixtures. Now, this is more work, and I realize we're talking about quick and easy here. But if you're really going for airtight construction, you might consider making a box out of zip. If you're familiar with the Huber zip system sheathing, you could make a box out of their sheathing. You could use their liquid flash or their tape inside the box. You could drop that down on top of whatever location you're working to make a nice airtight seal so that you really don't care whether that fixture leaks or not. You've got that box. That would also allow you to keep, for instance, someone asked a question about whether that low voltage converter was IC rated or not. It is IC rated, but it's only IC rated for loose fill insulation or fiberglass insulation. It's not IC rated for spray foam. So if we made a zip box and spray foamed on top of that, well, now we could use that without having to worry about IC ratings.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much, Matt. Let's switch over to Stud Pack. I saw in our chat they were asking the question, how easy is it to install the quick link in between the first and second floor of an existing ceiling?
That is probably the most difficult lighting solution to do in a remodel, getting between a ceiling with a finished floor above. I had to do it once in Southern California. There was a PSL beam supporting the second floor, and I could not drill through it with a 6-foot long drill bit. I couldn't get enough pressure for that drill bit to dig through that PSL beam. So I went upstairs, I pulled back the carpet, I cut through the subfloor, drilled through the beam with a standard drill, ran all my cables, put the subfloor back, put the carpet back, everything was cool. It's easy running lights like that when you're parallel with the joist, but getting across to run the wire is the hardest part. So you're gonna have to you got 3 choices. You can pull the floor like I did, like I just told you about. You can go get that 6-foot drill bit. They make them even longer and they make extensions to get across the joist, being careful not to drill through the subfloor above or the drywall below. Once you get through a couple, they kind of have their own mind. They wander. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go straight when you're going through that many joists. And the last option, you're cutting and patching drywall to run your cables. That is the hardest one I've ever done. It took me days, but we got it done, and there were no patches, and the homeowners were very pleased.
So how would the quick link kind of improve that process? How long ago was that?
Like 15 years.
Okay.
So instead of running Romex, now you're running low voltage cable. It's smaller. It's going to turn corners easier. The hardest part is going to be drilling the holes and routing your cable. But once you get the holes drilled, routing it's going to be much easier with the HALO lighting.
Awesome, makes sense. So glad that we hopefully helped solve some of those problems when it comes to that sticky situation of installing between the or on the first floor. So let's shift over to Glenn. I have a couple of questions I've seen in the chat for you. One of them is, do you recommend high CRI?
Well, hello everybody, and again, glad everyone is here. And yeah, great question. In the early days, and I think Matt mentioned this in the earliest times of LED, there was a lot of product out there that had low CRI. That's color rendering index. So early on, we saw products out there with something in the 70 range, and then it got a little better at the 80 range. And now all of the Halo products are 90 or above, and absolutely, it's a typically it's just what we do with our products is just include that, but you definitely want to be looking for that higher color rendering index. So again, things appear correctly when you're looking at them, and you don't have colors not looking correct from various spaces in the home. And that is definitely something you want to look for in a product. And certainly with Halo, all of our products at this point are 90 or above, which is considered very high CRI.
That's fantastic. So I also saw some questions about what do you do when you need to shine light on something specific, like through an adjustable fixture. So not just a slope in a slope ceiling, but what if you want to shine something on a portrait or a sculpture? Do we have
Yeah.
fixtures that meet that need?
Yeah. So good lighting in any space, really, you should be looking at general or ambient lighting, uh, accent lighting, which is basically what you're talking about, task lighting, and then wall washing. So you open up the space. So those are the four basic tenets of good lighting. And whether it's a kitchen, whether it's a living room, a laundry room, the bathroom, all these spaces, for all intents and purposes, should have all those four elements that you can turn on and off. And the question about dimming earlier was appropriate. But yes, we have adjustable fixtures throughout the entire line that come in 4 inch, 3 inch, all the way up to 6 inch sizes as well. And depending on the height of the ceiling and how much punch you want to have, it's going to determine how many lumens you want out. So our larger products typically put out more lumens, so you're going to get more punch. And but again, depending on the ceiling height, appropriately the way Matt described, you're going to want to use the right size aperture of the product. But yes, we do have adjustables that um, act as like gimbal rings, or kind of like the traditional eyeballs, but these are all in LED today. So those are all available.
That's great. I just saw a question come in from California. So, are these canless products, are you able to purchase them in California? And also, can they be installed in California?
Great question, and there are very specific codes um, in California about efficiency and flicker that we have to make sure as a manufacturer we meet those standards to be able to ship and sell within the state of California, and we do. So those standards are adhered to by Halo, and all the products that you have seen and can go on our website and find do and can be sold in the state of California, which is a great question to ask.
I have another question related to where you can buy Halo products. So, Glenn, can you tell us all the different ways that you can purchase?
So, over the 65 plus years that we've been in business, we've built up quite a network of outlets for builders, contractors, homeowners to be able to purchase the products. Um, you can buy through electrical distribution. So, those are your, again, wholesale houses and places like that. Also through showrooms. So there are showroom facilities throughout the country that we sell through. You can also buy through big box retailers, as well as through retailers that are strictly e-commerce. So Halo is readily available, which is very important, because again, to close up a job, you may in the morning pick up your supplies at one facility, and then later in the day find that you, like Matt with his wife, needed to add some more downlights to his space, and you can go and pick it up in another location, and know that you can get Halo from all of those different venues.
Fantastic. I just saw a question regarding quick link drivers. Are you able to buy those separately today?
So at this point, no, we're looking at again possibly having it as a service item, but right now it is part of the kit that you would get, and again that because again you would need to put X number of units. I think at least one or two units on each of the system. So right now we just introduced the product, so we don't have the need for additional units at this point.
Okay, and I saw a question on sustainability. So, what is Halo doing to create sustainable products?
Uh, great question. We sell a lot of product, and there's issues of dunnage, we call it in our industry, where the builders and contractors need to dispose of product, and we got a lot of good feedback. And over the last couple of years, we've started a program to take plastic out of our packaging, and that project is well underway. So again, it's another way to um, keep disposables down in the world, and again, and make it easier for disposal of the corrugated after the fact, after it's the product's been taken out and it's time to get rid of that waste. So you no longer have to separate out the plastic from the corrugated, and that again, like I said, we've been working diligently and have several products already in the market that have taken the plastic out of the packaging.
That's fantastic. Now let's switch to stud pack. So, this also came in through the chat. So, what's your remodel lighting strategy? Is there any rule of thumb for how much lighting you put in a bedroom, kitchen, etc.?
That's a great question, and thank you, Oregon Critter. We love your comment in the chat. We really appreciate that. Our lighting strategy is pretty simple. All of our projects are remodels, and in the South, the bedrooms are pretty small, 12 by 14, 14 by 16. So 4 lights, and we use the 4-inch also like Matt does. I remember our first project, Jordan, we put the 6-inch lights in that kitchen, and you could have done surgery. It was so bright in there. It was on a dimmer, but at full brightness, it was like glowing. You could see it down the street.
Yeah, so we're like, oh, okay,
Maybe 4 inches
maybe four,
is
yeah.
enough. Is enough. So in a bedroom or a dining room, for example, we don't like to put the lights too close to the wall, because then you'll get that cone on the wall, that bright spot coming from the light. We like to move it towards the center, 36 inches from each corner, 42, depending. And we'll actually hold the light up there, temporarily power them up, let the client determine where we want them, where he or she wants them, and then that's our location. In a kitchen, we'll have more lights. What we like to do, same as Matt, we like to center them on items, center them on a cabinet, center them on a hood, over the island. We even did a project where we lined them up with the AC registers with a laser, so everything was in a perfect line. So 4 in most rooms are going to cover you. In a larger room, get the larger kit, 6 to 8 lights. And I understand you can also buy the 4-pack and buy additional lights to add to that. Is that correct, Glenn?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
So if you bought a 4-pack of the lights, can you buy additional lights separately and add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We
Cool.
do that, and those singles are readily available. And again, whether it's for the initial install, or that's the whole point of Quick Links, is down the road you can install it very easily because of the
Perfect.
extra wiring that's up in the
Yeah.
plenum.
And that's great to know. You might have a client that says, you know what, I'd like a couple more lights. Well, you've got the wiring up there, you can just add them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also on the strategy point, I think the project we just did was the first time we had not set aside a big amount of time to install the lights. We
Right.
just kind of went in with the kit and we're like, well, if it's as easy as this, then we actually did it, and we did a whole room in 30 minutes.
Right.
And so it takes a lot of the stress and the anxiety from the location and running the Romex and fishing the wire, and we just weren't stressed at all.
Right. We also had one room that had faux beams across the ceiling. I really wanted to mount the light in those beams. I thought it would look very cool, but I got overruled by the designer.
Well, thank you. Another quick question while we're on QuickLink, can you add a cable to QuickLink?
You cannot add to the low voltage cable. That's why there's that
That
cap.
is
You have
correct.
to cap the end. You can cut it,
So
but once you cut it, you're done. You can't add to it. That's the I asked that same question when I first received our kits, and that's the answer I got from you guys. And just leave the excess in the attic, and you'll be fine. But do not cut it.
perfect. So what tools do you recommend using when installing downlights?
So in our video, we actually showed 3 ways to actually cut the hole. Old school drywall saw, then kind of an updated version, a standard hole saw that everybody has, and then we have a special tool just to cut holes for lights. It collects all the dust. It's great in a remodel when you don't want to get dust all over the house. Then standard electrician tools to run the Romex. We always make sure we fasten the Romex according to the NEC. And as far as fastening the low voltage cable, we like to use drive rings, which are used in the security alarm business. They'll route their cables through drive rings. And I would also use like a clamp that the cable companies use to clamp the coax down. Would never use a staple on it, anything that might crush the low voltage cable. So standard electrician's tools, and you're done. I think we just had a screwdriver, some strippers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We usually have a little bucket that we take up in the attic with us,
full of
and
stuff.
it's full.
Yeah.
And then we looked in there and we're like, oh,
Did we forget something?
yeah, barely anything in there.
Yeah. And you don't even need any wire nuts or anything like that. Everything's included with the light.
I will give a spoiler alert. I watched their video for the full installation. They also have a secret that they use when they're before they put the fixtures in to see if the fixture is going to hit anything above
right.
the ceiling. So
Right.
check that out later if you want to see what their top secret
That has
tool
saved
is
me
that they
many,
use.
many
I don't think they
times.
actually mentioned it just now, but so there's more. So how about showers, guys? Do you like to put fixtures in showers with wet location listed?
We did one today,
Yeah.
rated for wet locations, and we love them, and our clients love them.
And how about outside?
We've done that before. We had a project which had a simple incandescent fixture in the carport, and we had 2 6-inch lights left over from the kitchen we did with all the 6-inch lights. So we put them in the carport, and it's great. Most people have a fluorescent out there, which doesn't last very long at all.
That's right.
And it collects bugs inside the fixtures, even the incandescent ones. Bugs love to collect in there. The halo lights are a nice, clean look. You don't even notice them, but if you had a party under there, you got plenty of light.
The perfect atmosphere.
Right.
Hey Glenn, so I've been seeing a lot of questions about warranty. What is the warranty on the Halo products?
Great questions. As a lot of these are great questions. Um, we have 5 years on the Halo products. So again, and I think there was a question earlier or an answer earlier about the length of service of these products. So we rate our products at what we call L7050, which means that after 50,000 hours of use, you'll still get 70% of the lumen output. And most likely, it's not going to be the LEDs or the fixture itself that's going to go out. It could be the driver, and I think that came up earlier. But again, at again, some products we rate at 3 hours, other products we rate at 6. But you're looking at what we call generational lighting, meaning that it's really for the life of the home that these lights are going to last today. That's really not an issue. And I kind of relate this back to the color temperature question. As we age, we need and we like brighter light. And what I've seen and over time is that people do want that, going from a warmer color temperature when they're younger, and they can see very well to a cooler color temperature when they age. And the ability now with these switches that you can change that color temperature over time, and people are staying in their homes longer today, and having multi generations of people in a home, where in one room they might want a much brighter light, in another room, say a general area, they may have it at a different color temperature. But again, over time now, these are things you could not do with incandescent. You could not do with compact fluorescent. You couldn't do with HID sources. So this is the tremendous leaps in technology that we have now, that LEDs provide us as humans, and make make our spaces that much more enjoyable and productive and healthy of an environment over time. And I think that's really the key that I want to get across, is really that these are for the long haul, and that again, whatever early fits and starts we had as an industry, for if you're looking at a quality product, it's going to last really the life of the install. So feel very comfortable with that at this point.
Well, thank you, Glenn. And you absolutely hit the nail on the head. These fixtures, last a long time and are built to be adjusted based on your preferences if those do change. And thank you to all of you for your insights and also the questions you provided. We really appreciated that. And so that's a wrap for this evening. We're out of time for Q&A today, but we will get to you if we weren't able to address your questions from the chat. We hope that you enjoyed our program and found it to be memorable, insightful, and entertaining. Canless is the present and the future, and we know you'll make HALO your choice. If you would like to purchase any of HALO's Canless products, you can purchase them using the links below that feature a Find a Local Distributor link, Home Depot online, and Amazon. We will also be sharing this recording on our YouTube channel, so don't forget to like and share with your network. While you're on YouTube, if you haven't seen Matt's or StudPack's channels, I highly recommend you check them out. A lot of great content. Well, that's a wrap. See you next time.